G'day and welcome to my garage. Alright, what's happening here? We've got two bushings to make. Here it is in as a single bush. So, but basically, there it is. There it is. Here is two separate bushes. It's shown over there as like it's one bush because I've got 75mm of stock, 25mm round bar, and I've got to make two bushings out of it. So I'll make one at a time and cut it in half. That's just conserving material. So the first part that I'm doing at the present moment is turning this shoulder, where are we? Turning this shoulder down to 20mm. That's to go inside the pillow box that I've got, which is which takes a 20mm shaft, and so the outside diameter on this section is 20mm. That'll go into that pillow block, and then the whole thing will be bored to 15.87 or whatever it is, with the 5/8 shaft to go through, and then the raised 10mm section here, that'll have two grub screws or two set screws going into it to lock this sleeve, this bushing, onto the shaft. That's right. This bushing will lock onto the shaft, and the pillow block has two set screws that will lock onto the 20mm section of this bushing, and a 5/8 or 16mm bore straight through the guts. Then I turn it around, do the same on the other side. Once those two are done, then cut it in half and face them off to 10mm thickness. So let's start. I'm at 22.8 at the moment. So, quarter, half. No, I just lost it. These things throwing chips everywhere, it's annoying me. That's why I'm turning at a relatively low speed. Okay, just let me remeasure that because I lost concentration on the dial of the cross slide. What are we at? 22.27, so 2.27 mil. That's a quarter mil, half all over. That's a half mil, one all over. Look at that. down to 20.39. Should be 20.39. No, 20.31. So 0.3. That's 2.125. Silly me, I just nearly did the, instead of halving it for a radius. Yep, you take me. Yeah, I lost it. Okay, that's 20 mil. Just clean that up a bit. It's not much. I put a new tip, a new insert in. Cuts a lot better now. Okay, that's just over 40 mil. Let's see, I'm needing, that'll just take me over centre. That's good. Gotta back it out, silly. You know that. Okay, this is a 14mm Chinese drill. We'll see how it performs. We're starting at 10. Let's go with the low range. Pump a bit of oil in there. 20 mil. 25 mil. That's 30 mil. I don't know, people bellyache about these Chinese drills, but this one's behaving. Gearbox is getting hot. That's 40 mil. It should be getting to the end of the pilot drill, which was 6 mil. But it's still going strong. Okay, that's 45 mil deep. Well, I'm not going to complain about the Chinese drill. I personally operate a little bit differently about this step drilling business. I like to drill a pilot hole that's a little bit bigger than the cross-sectional area of a larger drill, but not too much bigger. What I find is if you do too many increments, it can have can be prone to chipping on the edge of the cutting face. But the way I drill, it's hard jacker. The chuck's hot, gearbox is hot. It'll have to wait a while to cool down. But the way I do it is it's a little bit. Pilot drills. Well, mine was 6 mil, and that's about 3 mil land in the middle. So. This is a 14 mil, I'm doing 12 millimetres, 6 millimetres of cut across each face. Using the whole face to cut, not just concentrating on one small area. I find that damages drills more than just doing it this way. Give it a pilot, a little bit bigger than the centre land, and then let the whole cutting face do the job. But it's hard work, and you need a good a lathe or a strong pedestal drill to do it. You can't do it by hand. Roughly, you can't do it by hand. But yes, that's my opinion. It works for me. I tend to do less damage to my drills that way than doing 3 or 4 stages of pilot drill. I don't know whether you can see that or not, but I discovered this the other day. I was getting ready to turn the sleeve around to machine the other half, and I thought that saddle is not square with the shaft. I'm sure it's not square with the shaft, and sure enough, it is not square with the shaft. That ruler, there's a bit of play in the bush, but the ruler falls down to the right. So I thought, I'm going to be joking. This is a new pillow block that I've bought for the gingery lathe. How am I going to fix this? Do I have to cast a new housing? And I realised that the bearing has not been the bearing has not been driven home correctly. If you have a look, there's my ruler. If you have a look at the bearing surface in relation to that second stage, not this top one, but the next one down. That bearing is a millimetre, 3/4 of a millimetre lower than that part. But on this side, where is it? Did you see that? We'll try that again. You may not have been in. This bearing is a little bit lower than this second step. So there's a bit of a step there. So it's about the thickness of the rule, about a millimetre and a half. If I turn this around, that second stage is now there, and the bearing is actually proud of that. So that's going to kick it. Which way? It's going to kick it that way. Exactly the way that it doesn't look right. So let me find a punch. I'll go over to the vise and I'll see if I can knock this bearing square into the aluminium housing. I'll be back. Well, I'm back from the vise. I just gave it a gentle tap and it looks like it's come good. So let's just check. And yes, the flange is now parallel with the shaft. So all the cursing I did about the Chinese not getting it right, they got everything right except they didn't install the bearing properly. But hey, it's right now, so no more complaints. I can now concentrate on finishing off the sleeves. There's two sleeves in one here that's got to be parted off or cut in half and then cleaned up. This side's already done. As you can see, I had the shaft in there, so now I've just got to turn it around and bore out yep, that'll work. Just got to bore out this other side to take the 5/8 shaft. Yep, that's out around. Let's tap it back into shape. Beautiful. Beautiful. Oh. All right, I'll bring you back after I reposition the camera and get ready to drill and then bore that out. Catch you soon. Alright, I've centre drilled it now with the 6mm pilot. Throw a 14 at it. Leggy. Gearbox is nice and cold. know, these cheap Chinese drills, for me, they're cutting like butter. Hot knife in butter. Beautiful. Focus, focus, focus. Is it going to focus? No. Maybe back there. Don't know if we can see that. But anyhow, it does perform well. Well worth the 25 bucks or whatever it was that I paid for the 8 or 9 drills. Alright. This is the bush or sleeve that goes between the shaft, the counter shaft for the motor. So these two screws lock to the sleeve, and then the sleeve through these screws will lock to the shaft. This has still got to be cut in half, remember? So I want to do the same as this, have the set screws 90 degrees apart. So that's what I'm at the moment. I've got the first 2 in, and basically to set it up to mark out the screws 90 degrees apart, I'll just use the tap, make the tap parallel with the vise, and then mark it out once it's in that position. Alright, now I need to mark this out. Nearly broke the drill on that first one I went through. I forgot about the tap being in there. Alright, they look good. I'll just tap these out now. Beautiful. I was aligning the this pulley with the pulley further down. So this pulley here, I was aligning it to the shaft. Not a problem. Just run those down. Look down the line. Yeah, that looked pretty good. I can't see that side. Can you see that side? No. Anyhow, got a stick out. Yeah, beautiful. I'll lock it in there. And as I'm just pulling it apart like now, I thought, well, I'm on an angle, so it's not going to be true, but I thought something doesn't look right. So again, I've lined up the piece I've just lined up with the stick. Yeah, that looks great. I'll go down here, and it's about 12 millimetres out. Interesting. I got these pulleys and the motor, that's what I recovered out of the wood lathe. So this pulley is approximately 59.6, let's say 60 millimetres. And this pulley is approximately 53.5 millimeters, say 54. Don't ask. Don't ask. I've got no idea how in the same wood lathe, this is the drive mechanism, 60 millimeters and 56 mil, or 4 mil, whatever it was. I'm not going to change it. The belt can be slightly misaligned. I will just take the mean average and sort it out that way. But yeah, how on earth does that work out? Is there something I'm missing? I don't know, but you know, the belts can run off a little bit, so I will just put this one in the middle of that, line the centres up basically, and work it out from there. So there's a good one for you. Here we have the finished sleeves, so I've drilled and tapped them to 6 mil set screws. I should have made them 4 or 5, but I didn't. I should have made them the same size as these, and I think they're 4 mil. I didn't think about making them. They're 5 mil. It's not a problem making mine 6 mil. It's just that I now need 2 Allen keys to assemble this. And that's how you fit a 20mm pillow block bearing bore, 20mm bore, down to a little bit under, well, it's a 5/8, 15.87. I've put the set screws on the same side. If I ever need to work on it, then I don't have to go hunting for them. They're right there, lined up with each other. So that's it. The two sleeves are made and fitted. If you do yours, make your set screws the same size as the set screws on the pillow block bearings. You don't have to, but hey, just cuts down on looking for tools.